Bootlegs. What are those? When someone mentions the word bootlegs, they may think of a few things, like let's say for example, toys. Bootleg toys usually look something like this, or whatever on earth is that.
Here I come!
Bootleg toys are usually made just different enough so they can't get themselves into a lawsuit, and are usually made in a country where those don't happen for the most part. I mean, you can sue them, but the thing is, the people making them are in a different country, so getting to sue someone in a different country than to yours is not that easy to do. But toys aside, there are different types of bootlegs out there, such as bootleg movies, but those are mostly called mockbusters. Mockbusters are movies that look like they're the real thing, but are cheaply made copies designed to maximize as much money as possible. And now to move on to the main part of the video, and to avoid going to a long unnecessary tangent that goes nowhere, just like most of the scenes of this movie, Ratatouing. Ratatouing is a movie made by Video Brincado, a now closed studio that is known for having made a lot of mockbusters. But as for Ratatouing, it mostly follows Ratatouille down somewhat story-wise, but both are very different in some ways. One movie is made by an award-winning studio that is known for making rememberable movies that can be enjoyed by everyone, and the other one is probably some part of a money laundering scheme. But jokes aside though, it's a movie that in all honesty looks bad, but in a entertaining way, I guess. But to give a short description about the plot of the movie, it's Ratatouille, but Remy owns a restaurant from the start. If that doesn't describe a plot well, then I don't know what will. With that whole thing out of the way now, let's go ahead and talk about this film already, because I do not have like a good way to segue into the film. We start the movie off with an introduction to where the movie will take place.
The marvelous city, land of sun and heat, with one of the most beautiful urban skylines in the world.
Pretty sure the city is called Rio de Janeiro. There's even a silhouette of the statue of Christ that can be seen. Moving past that, this whole scene is just there to show us where the restaurant is, while showing us buildings that look like they're from the bootleg version of Super Mario Sunshine.
It seems that everyone, even from distant places, wants to come to this restaurant.
Oh, I see. Redditors. We then cut to the next scene that is also exposition. Get used to that because there's going to be a lot of those. This is also where we do get introduced to our main characters, such as the first main character I guess we have is Marcel Toing, who is blue and the head chef and owner of Ratatoing. And then we have Carol, who is pink and a waiter in the restaurant, and that's all you really need to know about her. And then we have Greg, who's also a waiter, and for some odd reason the writers decided to give him a catchphrase, which I don't know why they did it, but either way, I guess it really does show the year the movie was made in. Oh, and for those who think I'm lying on the whole part of his catchphrase, where he just says precisely, like that's his catchphrase, here's like just a clip of him saying that word a lot.
Precisely, 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 precisely.
Oh yeah, also they're like these posh rich rats who are like the antagonists in this movie because I guess capitalism, I guess. So after a bunch of exposition later, we then hear Marcel talking about a special Thursday night activity that he reminds Greg of.
Wow, am I crazy or have we been busy?
I'm getting no rest. I've never seen it so busy.
I haven't either. And don't forget, after the restaurant closes, we still have a lot to do.
What do you mean? I plan to go home.
Oh, really? Greg, have you forgotten that it's Thursday night?
Oh, I forgot we do something special on Thursday night.
And what's this special thing that they do on Thursday night, you may ask? We won't find out right now because we got this very funny scene coming up.
But please tell me, young man, what is the secret of the great flavor in every one of the dishes you prepare?
Well, if I told you, it wouldn't be a secret anymore.
Oh, please, won't you tell me, young man?
All right, I'll tell you.
Now's our chance, now's our chance.
He's actually going to say it.
Quick, grab your notebook and write down every single word.
The actual secret ingredient that can be found in all of the food prepared here is lots of...
Come on, out with it.
If I had to make one big guess, he's about to cop out.
With lots of?
With lots and lots and lots of...
This guy is just driving me crazy.
The dishes are prepared with the secret ingredient of a lot of dedication and care.
You see, it's funny because it looks like he was about to say one thing, but then ended up saying another thing completely. So after that scene, we then cut to back to the gang getting themselves all ready.
Come on, Greg, it's time.
That's right, folks, we're having a changing scene because if there's one thing missing from this movie, it was a scene where the rats are changing. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and just spare the rest because there really isn't much there other than the fact they're just mostly messing around, so we can just move on at that point. So after that scene, we see the trio enter a human kitchen to which they go into to get their food from. A human kitchen that looks like it's something straight out of an N64 game. And then Marcel starts scanning the kitchen for food because spy reference.
Hey guys, check it out! I smell something fresh coming from down there!
That's awesome, let's go.
Wow, you won't believe it! What a bonanza! Guess what I found down there?
What is it?
Strawberries! Big, beautiful red ones that smell incredibly fresh and delicious!
Considering those strawberries are out in the open in a Brazilian environment, I don't think those are fresh at all there, mate. But either way, Marcel goes ahead and slings himself to the strawberries by throwing himself a grapple hook onto the fan. After grabbing one strawberry, Marcel goes ahead and grabs another one, but then Greg accidentally flips a switch that turns on the fan that Marcel is using to swing to the strawberries, which leads us to this very wacky scene.
Oh, he just missed. That's it, now bring me the strawberries. What have you done, you clumsy idiot?
It wasn't me, it wasn't me.
This is then followed by Greg trying to grab Marcel, which kinda goes about as well as you would expect.
Greg, how did you turn that thing on?
I think I pushed the switch.
What switch?
They pushed the button behind you.
Did you say pull?
No, not pull the button. Push the button.
Are you saying button?
Yes, button. I mean switch.
Did you say button or switch?
The button is a switch.
What switch?
This whole scene, it's just like there to stretch the movie's runtime. Like there's like really like no point that they had to like go and stretch it, but I guess they just did. And also the dialogue is just so frustrating to listen to. So after a bunch of plot lengthening later, the gang manages to walk away with one excellent strawberry, I guess.
Mine got stuck.
Well, guys, what really matters is that we were able to bring back an excellent strawberry.
Whatever works for you, I guess, and I guess that's pretty much it for this scene. We then go back to the posh rats, who are also the bad guys in this movie, if you couldn't tell. We found out here that they too have a restaurant, but are at the verge of going out of business due to Marcel having better food than them.
Listen, guys, I think we should just forget about trying to uncover the secret of Ratatouille's food and start worrying about our own restaurant.
What is with you? Why are you ready to quit so fast? If we can find out their secret, we can go back to being a great restaurant.
Great theory, but we've never been a great restaurant.
So instead of just trying to fix their business, they just decide to eat at Ratatouille every day to learn how Marcel makes his food because, you know, that makes sense and is a totally sound plan. But then again, I guess I wouldn't be surprised if this whole movie turned out to be some part of some sort of money laundering scheme. Meanwhile, one of the posh lady rats goes back into the restaurant to get a notepad, but then sees the door to the kitchen open and then again sees the secret door to the human kitchen. Now, just to be clear here, this whole scene actually takes place during the kitchen raid scene, but the movie's pacing at this point feels like it's either super slow or non-existent. Like at this point, it's just now boring to watch. But anyways, after finding out on how Marcel gets his fresh ingredients from, that one posh rat lady goes to the other posh rats and tells them about it. Also, the lighting just somehow disappears for some reason, I guess. But now knowing on how Marcel gets his food from, the posh rats come up with the most sinister scheme ever created. This entire movie was a mistake. That is, their entire plan, just dance and harass the humans. You could have just stolen some food as well. But whatever, let's just move on before I start getting invested into this crap. Back at the restaurant, everybody's getting real tired of having strawberries constantly, and that's really about it. We then get another suit up scene, and yes, it does happen for a second time, but it goes by quickly. Marcel and friends then enter the kitchen only to find lots of mouse traps, but aren't really much of a danger to them as Marcel walks by them. Really easily, might I add. He then finds a big chocolate bar on top of a kitchen counter. I would go ahead and complain about this part as well, but I'm too lazy to do so at this point. While Marcel tries to pick up the chocolate bar, he then gets spotted by a weird looking cat, which then starts a chase scene, which results in Marcel not getting the chocolate bar, and that's really about it. So we are now at the final part of the film, thank God. So we have another restaurant scene, but not really much happens there, other than the fact that like we have the bad guys talking about, you know, just doing another thing, but that's really about it. So after that, Marcel and friends get themselves all ready to go to the kitchen, and yes, there is another changing scene that happens for the third time, but luckily this one goes by pretty quick. Now the gang is ready to go into the kitchen, but they are being followed by the other two male bad rats, because I don't know, bad guys I guess. They also left like the door open, pretty wide open, enough for them to just sneak in, but whatever, let's just move on I guess. So the gang arrive at the kitchen again, and then Marcel slingshots himself to the kitchen counter and then tries to get the attention of Big Catus. It's at this point that I also know how this movie is going to end.
Come on, Greg, we have to grab as much of this cheese as we can.
Precisely.
So after getting all of the cheese, Greg and Carol leave the table, but then are encountered by the posh bad rats. Because if there's one thing we need in this movie, it's some tension, or something like that.
Hold it right there. Give us everything you have in your bags and make it quick. And we do mean everything you've got. But why? Don't you think there's enough cheese here for all of us? Go get your own, but watch out for the traps.
So, when it looks like they're about to get mugged, Marcel arrives just in time with the cat that he has tamed, gives him the bad rats, and that's the end of that scene. After that whole thing, everything has returned back to normal in the restaurant. For the most part, I suppose. Oh look, even the cat is a customer now. That seems nice, I suppose. And as for those two male rats, turns out they've been sent into a laboratory. No, I'm not kidding.
I heard those rats of ours were sent to an out-of-town laboratory.
Oh, you know I miss them so much, it just breaks my little heart.
Be patient, my friend. I understand they're being treated very well out there.
Well, whatever helps you sleep at night, I guess. But as for Marcel and friends, they talk about the events of the movie, and then it ends with everybody laughing, because why not?
Boss, that new friend of yours has requested another salmon with Roquefort cheese. I guess he likes the food here.
And I intend to keep him feeling that way. Trust me, he is the very best deal in town, my friends.
Precisely.
So that was Ratatouille, a good example of a bad mockbuster. At least to me anyways. Looking at this, I wouldn't say Ratatouille is the one true worst mockbuster movie I've ever seen. It's just one of them, really. Like, when I was watching it, I wasn't really offended. At least in a narrative way. Like, I went and reacted with, oh okay, that's happening now, I guess. But like, looking at the other stuff, the plot felt disjointed and goes nowhere at times. Like, it's one half pointless filler dialogue and the rest is irrelevant scenes that do contribute to the movie but is stretched out way too long than they need to be. The animation certainly is something from Video Brinquedo. Like, yeah, it looks bad, but that's what you would come to expect from a Brazilian money laundering scheme. The dialogue is just kinda there, but does feel disjointed at times. The voice acting is there, I guess. Like, I have no idea on how they managed to get Mike Pollock and Lisa Ortiz, but you know what, get that bag, I guess. Overall, it's bad, but I wouldn't call it the one true definition of a bad mockbuster movie. It's just one of them, really. Yeah, I don't know how else I can end this video here, so bye bye. Yeah, that's it.